Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
This is a prayer song to Swami Vivekananda, who came to establish Dharma as Sri Ramakrishna's ambassador. We bow down to him 1,000,000 times. He was without bondage and came to do good to the mankind. He was initiator of liberation. He told us to serve God, the whole world, in the image of God, Shiva. He was Sri Ramakrishna's loving child. We pray to him to fill our minds with love and devotion.
Ji
जीव में शिव के दर्श कराए, युग धर्म प्रवर्तन हारे, युग धर्म प्रवर्तन हारे, करता तुमको जगत प्रणाम। राम कृष्ण के वीर दूत को करते हम सब कोटि प्रणाम। वेद के जनहारे, वेद के भंजन हारे, भवबंधन से सदा मुक्त हो आए, जग कल्याण करन को। भवबंधन से सदा मुक्त हो आए, जग कल्याण करन को। मोक्ष मंत्र के देवन घोरे, मोक्ष मंत्र के देवन घोरे, करता तुमको जगत प्रणाम। राम कृष्ण के वीर दूत को करते हम सब कोटि प्रणाम। वेद के भंजन हारे, हृदय बसो तुम राम कृष्ण नंदन, प्रेम से रंजित कर दो मन। हृदय बसो तुम राम कृष्ण नंदन, प्रेम से रंजित कर दो मन। भक्ति प्रेम के पाटन हारे, भक्ति प्रेम के पाटन हारे, करता तुमको जगत प्रणाम। राम कृष्ण के वीर दूत को करते हम सब कोटि प्रणाम। वेद के भंजन हारे, वेद के भंजन हारे।
I am reading from the book, The Eternal Companion, Life and Teachings of Swami Brahmananda. The chapter is Divine Grace. There is no dearth of divine grace. The trouble is that men do not really care for it. They take pleasure in idle gossips only. No one wants to realize the supreme truth. Man takes pride in talking nonsense. That is how he spends his life. And as he sows, so he reaps. Teachers can be had by thousands, but rare indeed is a true disciple. There are many to take up the role of teachers, but where are the men to hear and follow their teachings? If one goes on striving for a higher life with a strong faith in the words of the Guru, then his miseries automatically come to an end. It is given only to 1 in a million to cherish noble desires and sublime thoughts. And of such souls who are so privileged, very few can stick to their ideals to the last. Those persons in whose minds good thoughts have already sprung up should try their utmost to strengthen and make them permanent. In order to keep up their fervor, they should pray unceasingly to God, O Lord, give me the capacity to understand and receive your infinite grace. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, to all appearances, the maid in a house looks upon all that belongs to her master as her own, but in her heart of hearts, she knows that they do not belong to her at all. So long as we live, we must do our work without attachment. We should know in our heart of hearts that this world is not our permanent home, but only a temporary abode. And we should direct our mind to God, the heavenly home from where we have come. How many care for truth or God? Puffed up with pride, man sometimes raises himself to such a high pedestal that he totally denies even the existence of God. Everyone thinks of himself as infallible and his way the only way to liberation. Do you know what such a one says? We do not accept what we cannot understand. He little thinks how limited is his power of comprehension. What he thinks right today, he gives up as false tomorrow. Every person conceives of God in his own little way. But our conception of God should not be so limited, for He is all-comprehensive. He is not perceptible to the mind and intellect. He to whom God is pleased and to reveal His mysteries alone can realize God's nature. And when He is realized, the gates of knowledge are open, the knots of the heart are cut asunder, and infinite wisdom is attained. Only when man realizes this state can he fully understand the relation between God and himself, that God is his own and he is God's. Man cannot attain any knowledge unless Divine Mother reveals it. The mysteries of this world and the next will be revealed only when she discloses them out of her mercy. The intellect as ordinarily understood is not the real intellect. Its area, its range is very limited. Those who want to gain real bliss in this life, those who really desire to solve its intricate questions such as, who am I? What have I come here for? Why am I suffering from so much misery? Why does one man attain godhood while another remains a mere brute? Should have one and only one duty, namely, strive to realize God by all possible means. Life's perplexing problems will be solved the moment God is realized. Yes.
Now a short period of meditation. topic is concept of Dharma. Beautiful song from Swami Vivekananda. Yo dharmasthapana-rato viresham tam namamyaham. Swami Vivekananda said Sri Ramakrishna is the sarva dharma sthapakastvam. He's the one who came to establish all religions, to sustain all religions, and he himself became, Swami Vivekananda himself was, as aptly told in the translation, that he was an ambassador of Sri Ramakrishna's message of Dharma to the whole world. Dharma is, often we know, and we often understand Dharma as religion or religious faith. So that is not the whole of Dharma. And Dharma, religion means religious practice, religious observances. But Dharma is one of that, of course. But it is much broader, it's much deeper. The concept of Dharma is much deeper. What is Dharma? Dharma is it's the intrinsic quality of a thing or a person which makes that person or thing that. That means without Dharma, being ceases to be that being. For example, if we have no Manava Dharma, if we are without Dharma, we cease to be human beings. We won't be human beings. In Mahabharata it is said that Dharmena hina vasubhi samana. If you are devoid of Dharma, as a human being devoid of Dharma, he becomes just like an animal, two-footed animal. So Dharma is the one which makes us human being. So a human being has Dharma. Similarly, everything has Dharma. Like fire has its Dharma, water has its Dharma. What is the Dharma of fire? Dharma of fire is what makes fire a fire. If we take Dharma out of fire, fire may seem like fire, but it will not be fire. Then what is the Dharma of fire? Fire Dharma is to give heat, is to burn. If a fire is there but it doesn't produce heat, it doesn't burn, it has no quality to burn, so that is not fire. It has lost its Dharma. Water's Dharma is to make wet. If it can't make wet, it's no more water. It has lost the Dharma. So human beings we are till we have Dharma. Otherwise we are just an animal. What are the qualities Mahabharata compares with animals and human beings? Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam cha. Those are common in animals and human beings. Only Dharma is extra quality in human beings that make the human being as human beings. If those qualities are just let and Dharma is removed, so human being will just like be an animal. So eat, drink and be merry are the qualities of an animal. You have to have add, that's fine. Add Dharma to it, everything has its meaning. Dharati lokan iti dharma. What sustains the whole world, that is Dharma. The planets are Dharma. The earth has its own Dharma. If earth loses its Dharma of revolving around the sun in particular elliptical way, so earth will not sustain itself. These powers are Dharma. Sun has the power, sun has the quality of Dharma to give light, to burn, to release energy. That is the Dharma of sun. So everyone performing Dharma, then this whole world is sustained. Planets and sun and the moon and the earth and the rivers and the trees and the animals and human beings. Then this whole world is sustained. That's why everyone has Dharma. Dharati lokan iti dharma. There is therefore Dharma in everyone, but at the human level there is individual Dharma and also Dharma at different stages, like domestic level, at social level, and at general level. They are all Dharma. So Dharma becomes very complicated concept, complicated issue. What is Dharma? If we do not analyze, it has been said in the Mahabharata also, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. What really is Dharma? It is as if it is hiding in the cave, deep inside the cave. It's very difficult to understand what to do and what not to do. We often come to a situation in our life what to do and what not to do. When Arjuna went to fight battle with Kauravas, and he was deluded that he didn't want to kill his own dear, revered grandsire, teacher, his own teacher. And there was the duty of a king to fight in the battle who are against you, who are in the side of injustice. Now there is the crisis of dharma. That is what Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna was at a crossroad. What to do? Should I fight and kill them? Or should I give up this? What for? That's why he gives the reason. Why are we fighting? Are all kingdom and victory and glory is for these relatives, for my teacher, for my grandsire. And I'm asked to, am I going to fight with them, be killed or kill them? So, what is really my duty? There comes the question of what is my dharma? There Sri Krishna's Gita is all about teaching the dharma. Arjuna, this is your dharma, you should do this, and he gives the explanation why you should fight and how you should fight. What is your dharma and how you should practice dharma. That is the Kshatriya dharma. Dharma of a warrior, dharma of a army general. There is dharma in all stages of life. In Hinduism there are 4 classes of 4 stages in life and 4 classes of society, human beings in society. The 4 classes are called Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. This is natural division, guna, karma, vibhavayo. It's according to the innate quality and tendency of a person. It's not by birth. By birth became later on corrupted and became by birth the classification of society into 4 classes, varnas. So like some are intellectual and they are thinkers, they are called brahmanas. Whoever they are born from, is born from a Shudra or from a Vaishya, doesn't matter, or Brahmana, doesn't matter. One who has the thinking, intellectual, and he is scholarly, deep thinker, that person is called Brahmana. And Kshatriya is the one who wields power and protects the society, protects kingdom, and fights for that, ready to sacrifice their life. That is called Kshatriya. Vaishya are the one who produce wealth, traders, businessmen, industrialists. All those are the Vaishyas. There is nothing that, whoever does that, if he is a Brahmana son, he is also Vaishya. And all these castes are all at an equal level, not that one is higher and one is lower. Society has all these 4 kinds of people. And they are one who produce things, who do manual work, who do hard work to grow, cultivate the grains and produce the things and carry the things and do the manual work, hard working people who use their muscles for the benefit of society. According to the dignity of labor, if there should be hierarchy of caste, those people should be at the highest level, because without them society can't remain. So Swami Vivekananda once said, if your garbage is not cleaned in city of Calcutta for 5 days, you'll all die of sickness. And you consider Shudras as Shudra Doli. So that's if there is hierarchy. The Shudra, who work physically to produce the things, this should be at the highest. But Swami Vivekananda said, castes are fine, but there should be no privilege. So each had its own dharma, as I told you. And there is concept of ashrama. 4 stages of life, human life. First stage is called brahmacharya ashrama, when a person is to dedicate his time for studies. Purity of thought, concentration, and all focus on studies, gaining knowledge, and gaining the disciplines for life, self-control, all those things to be taught and learned in that first stage of life. If a human being's life is said to be 100 years, like 20 years or 25 years, whatever that person is, it comes in our student life nowadays. That is called brahmacharya, life of brahmachari. And there is God there. After that, a person finishes his studies equips himself mentally, physically strong. Ashishto, Dradishto, Balishta. That's what Upanishad says. After the Brahmacharya life, Ashishto, Dradishto, Balishta. He is strong, is firm, and is blessed. Like that, the student now, he becomes a householder, family man, gets married. Then now different dharma comes for him. Now he has to take care of his parents-in-law, wife or husband, both ways, and the children. And not only that, on the life of a married person, married institution, depends all of the three classes, ashramas, Vanapasta, Sannyasa and Brahmacharya. Student depends on that, the retired person depend on that, and the seekers of knowledge, the sannyasis also depend on that. So this is very important phase of human life when it becomes productive and it has to take care. Very responsibility. A great institution. God has the dharma, it has its own dharma. It has to take care of relatives. And when Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself, such high are the ideals for a grihastha life. Atithi devo bhava. Someone comes, you do not know that person. Can you treat him as God? And the love for God, how to treat as God, that he has learned as the brahmachari, as the student life. That is the formative time. Now this is the time when you, after training is finished, now you are expressing that. This is the life of householder. Very many responsibilities. Often people think they're crushed under the duties, responsibilities. Here, this is the time when we earn, go to office and have to perform so many duties, take care of our children, give them right studies, give them recreation. You have to think of manage your earnings. All those things have to be done by grihastha, and that all comes under the garhastha dharma. One has to perform that very nicely. After you have done your dharma, you pass to next phase called vanaprastha, retired. Now you may be sitting, no responsibility much. You just enjoy the vanaprastha life. And according to the scriptures, the vanaprastha is our time when we start thinking about the final goal of life. What have I gained in this life? What is my goal? You start thinking and become more spiritual. Spiritual current should flow throughout our life, there is no doubt. It's not that God is the time you totally forget God. Then you cannot perform the Garhastha Dharma, the Dharma of a householder. That time also your life should be centered in God. Then you can perform all this heavy work. So God-centric life has to be there. But Vanaprastha is duties are less, responsibilities are less. Then you should be more spiritual. If you are not spiritual in Vanaprastha life, then life becomes very miserable. Nowhere to go, no work there. You are retired already from the office. Plenty of time. You don't know how to utilize that time. Even how to pass that time. After utilization becomes how to pass. Watching TV, seeing movie, listening to songs, watching news. You get tired. Nothing there. So for that, to make it more utilizable, beautiful, it has to be used for spiritual practices. More of God, more of good thoughts, more of nice thoughts coming into you through reading the scriptures, books, lives of great persons, and prayer and meditation. All that leads us to more beautiful Vanaprastha life of a life of a retired person. And finally comes time devoid of all situation. That was the thing, the sannyasa was the ideal that was made during the Vedic times, but that is not very commonly done. So Vanaprastha mostly, in the Vanaprastha life is that we try to progress from worldly life to very highly spiritual life. How much you live in the Vanaprastha life, that is there. You don't have to take formal sannyasa. Nowadays it's not common, it's not difficult, it's not practiced. But the life of a Vanaprastha can be like a life of sannyasi. Total detachment from the family and total attachment to the spiritual awareness, to God. You have withdrawn yourself, no desires left, nothing left that this is mine and totally I belong to mother and mother belongs to me. That thought. then you have become sannyasis without wearing ochre robes or formal robes of a monk. So that's how this was divided. In Veda it said, Dvai vidho hi vedokto dharma, every stage of dharma. And two types of dharma are said in the Vedas. What are those? Pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshanascha. Pravritti lakshana is when one becomes active, want to produce, becomes like a householder earning. That is a dharma. That is very important dharma. And similarly, equally important, equally difficult is nivritti lakshana dharma, when there is retroactive phase of life. One is active phase, another retroactive phase, that vanaprasthi and sannyasis life. That is also equally important and difficult dharma. That's why common saying says, how to practice dharma in life then? If this there is no compartmental division of 4 stages of life, brahmacharya, garhastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa, not there, all together. Like from student, you go to the householder's life, and that continues. There is no 3 other divided. This compartment. So how should we perform the dharma? It is said, ajara maravat pragyo. What should we do? This life is impermanent. Should we strive to earn money and learning, or just life is impermanent, nothing to do? So the practical suggestion set for dharma is ajara maravat pragyo vidyam artham cha chintaye. When we are focusing our mind on learning and earning money, then think yourself as ajara and amara. You will never grow old and you will never die. Think that and pull your full attention on the means to earn wealth and to means to earn the brahmacharya life and the garhastha life, and to learn. Then grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharmam acharet. And when in that very phase, when you have started practicing dharma in the sense of spiritual practices here, when you have come to God and you have come to pray, and then what we should think? Grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna. The death has got hold of my head. Now it's going to pull me anytime. Death, we don't know when the death comes. So think of death and impermanence of world and divert your mind fully to God when you have come to pray. That is very practical suggestion for practicing dharma in our lives. Attachment, doing the things in right way, total detachment when you go to God. Attachment to the world and worldly pursuits, and then attachment to God according to the time how we spend. So when we think of God, forget the world totally, because when we die we don't know. If we die and we are dying alone, there is no one else with us. So it's all you and God. So like that, death has got hold of my hair, and for total attachment to God and practice as if that you have no duties in the world. In Mahabharata it is said, Dharmo rakshati rakshati. If you protect the dharma, if you practice the dharma, dharma will protect you. So what that dharma is will come later on. In Ramayana, Rama is considered to be real embodiment of dharma, a personification of dharma. In the story of Ramayana, we discussed one day, that Rama's story also is there in one of the talks. So, how is Rama depicted as embodiment of dharma? Rama followed the Raja Dharma. He was a king. When he went to forest, he was a husband. He did everything to find out his wife was lost. And then when he came back and started performing the dharma, he didn't look back to commit any sacrifice, take up any sacrifice for the sake of the dharma. He had to banish his most dearest wife Sita. This was because of following dharma. Not only that, the Lakshmana who was with him for 14 years, and Lakshmana, it is said, he never even slept at night. He was always at God. So devoted, so dedicated, he had to even ask Lakshmana to go away from his kingdom because of his dharma. Total detachment, no human weakness. Whatever the rules say that. Once Lakshmana somehow overheard some conversation. And it is said that if someone is overhearing something, he should not be in the kingdom, in the palace, in the kingdom. And Rama had to see the pain of Rama doing that things, but he never deviated from doing the right thing. That's why it is said, Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. In Manusmriti, there are 10 qualities of Dharma, Manava Dharma, human qualities, human Dharma are mentioned. Dhritik, Shama, Damo, Asteyam, Shaucham, Indriya, Nigraha, Dhir, Vidya, Satyam, Akrodha, Dashakam, Dharma Lakshanam. We should all practice these 10 qualities, 10 disciplines if we want to call ourselves a human being. What are they? Dhriti, firm establishing ourselves. Kshama, able to forgive. Dhamma, self-control. Asteyam, non-greediness. Asteyam is non-stealing. It also includes non-greediness. Shaucham, purity of mind and body. Indriya Nigraha, sense-control. Dhi, sharp intellect. Sharpen your intellectual practices. Vidya, the knowledge, study. Satyam, always being confined to truth. If we deviate from these qualities, we deviate from human being also. When we say we have to be smart and sometimes manage by telling some lies, you become less human being. You may be smart, but we are becoming smarter towards the animal. You become less human being and become more animalistic. Maybe a smart animal we are becoming. That's what it says, Satyam. Akrodha, no anger. This krodha is supposed to be totally taken out, the human being out of us. When we are angry, we are no more human being. We are no more the self, no more the human being. We become like animals. We know how many things people do in a fit of anger. They can do anything. They just become like animals. This akrodha is very much said, that's why. These are the 10 qualities of Dharma. In Patanjali Raja Yoga also, Yama and Niyama are the practices that we should practice if we want to become human, if we want to progress spiritually, and those are the basic human qualities for a disciplined life for us to practice. And what are they? Ahimsa. There are also 10 qualities it is said. 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. Those start first. When you want to control your mind, meditate well, that is later on. You have to practice these 10 disciplines. Without that you cannot meditate. Ahimsa. Having no ill feeling towards anyone, not only injuring others physically, having no ill feeling towards anyone. When we have ill feeling towards anyone, oh, that person is so bad. It is as if killing, it is himsa. Satya, of course, truthfulness always. Asteya, the same quality you see, non-greediness, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, self-control. Aparigraha. Aparigraha is a wonderful concept that's very strongly practiced in Jains. Aparigraha is one of the 5 tenets. Aparigraha is non-receiving gifts. It means non-receiving gifts. So how to practice this? It seems to be very impractical. If you say, I am practicing aparigraha, I won't accept any gift that you give me on Christmas or my birthday because I am practicing Dharma. So non-receiving gifts has to be explained. It is that you are not obliged to receive gifts. That someone gives gift means that you don't become obliged and you have to do something to that. It is not a burden upon you because that person has gifted me something. Now how should I reciprocate that person? Oh, this person gave, now how to do? You are, instead of becoming happy, you are now troubled. How to reciprocate this? That is called receiving of gifts. Receiving, being happy, someone find joy in giving and you feel that receiving the gift that will make that person happy, that is not really aparigraha. Aparigraha is depending on the gifts of others or trying to have a will to have gift from others or having obligation for receiving gifts from others. So that should not be there. Saucha is purity of mind and body. Santosha is another human quality. Are you satisfied? Are you happy with your position in whatever you are? Because there are different positions in life. Always seeing that person is so happy because he has this and that. I do not have that. Why all troubles to me? There is no trouble in the life. So trying to feel God, I am blessed, always counting the blessing, that's it. How many good things I have? And why do we imagine other person, what he has or she has, will be very happier than you? That is wrong imagination. It might be. We don't know inside that. That's why Shaucha is also, Santosha is another quality. Tapa, little austerity in life. Swadhyaya, you see. That's one of the niyamas. It is said, you have to study scriptures, study good books, study, also you can say it's like a prayer also become that. And then Ishvara Pranidhana is the last. Surrendering to God. Final, God has to come to your life. Yoga, Sutra Patanjali doesn't talk much about God. It's all about controlling the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It is all about that. But here in Niyama, you see it said, Ishvara Pranidhana is fifth and last of the Niyamas. That depending on God, surrendering yourself to God. Gita gives a list of the qualities, they call it divine qualities. Sri Krishna enumerates those and says to Arjuna, Arjuna, don't be afraid, you have all those qualities. What are those qualities? Gita says something different. Abhayam, fearless. Arjuna was fearless, this was believed, that's why he was saying. Abhayam, sattva samshuddhi is like shaucha, purity. Jnana yoga, we established what is real and what is unreal, how much this is going to be lost. It's called Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, you are studying Jnana Yoga. Dana, you say no marriage, they say Dana. Be charitable. Feel for fellow human beings and other fellow creatures. That will make your heart enlarged and you will be able to connect with the creation. After all, the truth is we as the Atman is all. It has become all. That saying separate myself is ignorance. And this charity, being of a service to others through any means, being connected to others, makes our heart expand. Dharma is control. Dharma is Swadhyaya Tapa. Here also Swadhyaya came, Tapa also came. Arjava is another quality added by Sri Krishna. Is Arjava is simplicity. Be simple in outlook. Don't doubt everything. Ahimsa, again said, Satyam Asteya, Ahimsa Satyam Asteya. Like that it goes on and finally it says, Teja, Kshama, Dhriti, Shaucham, Adroho, Nati Manita. Those all come, but Teja is the one quality to say. Teja is fortitude, vigor. You are always alert and you have self-respect. What is Manava Dharma? Swami Sri Ramakrishna said one very nice. What is the human dharma? He says, Manus to Manus. If we are aware that you are a human being, then you are a human being. We are always aware, I am a human being. No, we are not aware. If we are always aware of a human being, why do we work as non-human beings? Why do we work as animals? To be aware always as a human beings. As a human being, I cannot do this mean thing. It's a mean to do this. It's as a human being, I cannot throw after having a cup of coffee, throw the cup on the road. That is not the work of human being. You miss there the dharma. You are not human being, less of human being there. Aren't you aware that you create dirt and pollution? So, like that in small things, always being aware of human being. Why should I speak the truth? Why should I have ill feeling towards others? Why should I get angry? Whenever we miss those points, then we become less and less human being. And adroho, that's why one it is said, don't have ever any enmity towards others. Droha, fight, quarrel. We have nice feelings with others. And the last one, Sri Krishna says is, na ati manita. Manita is seeking praise, honor. And he doesn't say don't seek praise, honor at all, because you have to have self-respect. But na ati manita, don't have excessive demand for your own glory. People should respect you like nothing. Just simple human behavior coming from others. Be happy with that. Don't expect much from others. That's why he said, and he said, Arjuna, you have all those qualities. That's why he said, Bhagavata gives a list of 30 qualities of dharma. The list begins with Satya, Daya, Tapas, Shaucham. Already we discussed. These are the qualities of dharma of human beings. And it includes in that Navavidha Bhakti, finally takes, with those qualities takes us to God. After all, Dharma is expressed in the Vedas. Dharma and Brahma both are there. Dharma and Brahma are same, it is said. And if Brahman is the goal, Dharma is the means to achieve that goal. When we practice Dharma in life, we will reach Brahman, we will reach God. So, in Bhagavata, it is a devotional scripture, it has been said, you have to practice, if you can practice 9 kinds of discipline in life, your journey to God will be quicker and certain. What are those? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. The 9 kinds of bhakti thing, what are those? First is hearing the glory of God. Always talk about God. When you talk about God, it has to be glory. Exceptional, loving thing. So you will find joy in that. And if you do not have inclination to God, start listening about God. Krishna, Durga, Kali, Rama, Krishna, Chaitanya, anything. If you listen about this holy person, about Jesus, so you have something purifying effect in your mind, and that will create more and more love towards God. Chanting His name. Even just repeating Krishna, Krishna in the mind also brings love to God. Contemplating on His charming form, thinking about the form of God, so pure form. God's form is not like other human form. Though it's a human being, human form, it's not thinking like human being. There's total difference between thinking of a form of Krishna and thinking of form of any other person. So that has more, that much power that can withdraw us. Serving His feet, that is said. It's Pada Sevanam. What does it mean? Serving His feet. Pada also means the position. So it is like having special service to thinking of His feet or surrendering Him. Then worshipping Him. Archanam. Worshipping, regular worship with flower or whatever, with candle leaf, with dhupam. You can worship in any way, but that takes you towards close to God. Then vandanam, saluting. That you pronoun to God, coming to Him, bowing down. In every religion it is there. Somewhere you kneel down, somewhere you touch the ground. In Buddhism, it's touching the ground like Hindus, they do. And in Hinduism, which is the prostration. If you go to South India, it's so common to prostrate God. Prostrating is, you are totally surrendering to the will of God. Nothing mine. You are powerless. No ego left. So that type of is called saluting Him. Dedicating all actions to Him. That is dasyam. Trusting Him as one's true friend. Who will take care when we are in trouble? It is the friend who looks after. And who is the truer friend than God? So, Sakhyam, the God is my friend, so I need not worry. Atma Nivedanam, the final is total surrender to God. These 9 things, discipline, make us more devoted and purer to God. The thing is, the Dharma will say, you have to put your mind somehow in God, somehow be associated with God while dealing with the world. The word is, Kenapi upayena manah krishne niveshayat. That is the smartness. Smartness is not somehow telling lies or somehow saying something and getting free from your customs or something you do to your boss and you get some off, not like that. Real cleverness, real smartness is how you put your mind on God. Kenapi upayena mana krishne niveshayat. By any way you put your mind in God. Sri Ramakrishna says, someone came to have darshan of Mother Kali, and there was a crowd, and that guy was not having his own devotion. He was more busy on his younger son and putting him and doing that, and he didn't have much devotion. And it was like something seeing, like something going to a museum, like that for him. So Sri Ramakrishna didn't approve that. He said, when you go to the temple, the first and foremost thing should be, you should somehow you go to the deity, have darshan of the deity and try to feel connected with the deity. Even helping the poor and beggars and those things can be done later on. First, somehow, Josho Kore, he said, somehow you have to go and see the deity. Kenapi upayana mana Krishne niveshaye. Somehow or other, you have to put your mind in Krishna, in God. Then that is smartness. What is Dharma according to Ramakrishna Vivekananda? They have given different meaning of Dharma. About this caste system, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They never said it should be abolished. They never were reformist. How Sri Ramakrishna resolved the caste thing? Swami Vivekananda said, privilege in caste system is wrong, privilege should go. There will be natural division of the human society. Whether one is written in the Vedas, whether they followed the Vedas, or whether in the West or the East or the South or the North, there is natural division of class, people will be there. And he said, privilege should go. Sri Ramakrishna made very nice way to resolve the caste issue without disintegrating the caste. He said, Bhakter Jat nahi. There is no caste of the devotees. He or she is, whether devotee is a Brahmana or Shudra or Vaishya, nobody asks. He or she is a devotee of God. And that is the greatest recognition of the thing. So, be devoted to God. Caste system automatically dissolves. The distinction of caste and ill of caste system automatically dissolves. That's why in Puri there is a tradition from the medieval time when the caste system was so strong. All will go there and nobody will ask caste. They all will sit together in Ananda Bajar, that place, and eat food. Together, of all caste. When there was so much of this thing that Brahmana will sit beside Shudra and eat, they won't mind. That has been the tradition going on. So beautiful. When you are bhakta, there is no caste, you see there. And Sri Ramakrishna also said, Shiva Jnane Jiva Shiva. How to have the spiritual practice? Serve. Service is the greatest spiritual practice. One Swami was there, Dr. Swami, and he had a statue in his ears and was treating the patient. Another person came and said, Swamiji, what are you doing? You are a monk and you are supposed to pray and meditate. What are you doing this? Are you satisfied to do this? You are working in the hospital like any other doctor. Then why did you become monk if you had to work in a hospital? It was the hospital of Sri Ramakrishna Mission. So the Swami said, when I come to a patient, I come as if I am coming to a God. When I wash his wounds, I feel I am washing Shivalinga. When I offer him food or medicine, I think I am offering to God, the deity. And when I console him and speak him in an energizing way, then I feel I am showing the stotras to the Lord. So that is the modern dharma that Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda gave. Bahurupe Shammukhe Tomar Chari Kotha Kutisho. Where are you searching God? He is there in front of you in many forms, in varied forms. This is all God in front of you. Where are you searching Him? Jive prem kore jaijon seijon sediteshwar. Whoever loves beings, Jiv, any created being, whoever can love from heart, that person is really serving God. You don't have to go anywhere, Puri or Kailash or nowhere. Just serve the people in front of you, the beings in front of you with love, and that is the real worship. Swami Vivekananda said. What we said about Swadhyaya and scriptures, Swami Vivekananda Dharma, how much of scriptures to follow? Sri Ramakrishna also said, scriptures, there are many good things, but there are not all good things. So only take those good things that are beneficial. He said that. In the scripture there is a mixture of sand and sugar. Take the sugar. What is sand and what is sugar? Swami Vivekananda said, whatever, accept only those portions of the Shastras which agree with your religion. Yes, it is true. What is said is acceptable. Accept that. You don't have to accept everything that is said in the Shastra. And you should not accept unless you are reasonably satisfied with what is said in the Shastra. Yes, that is to be practiced. Then you will be able to practice, and that will be beneficial. Somebody said to Sri Ramakrishna, one person had come, Sri Ramakrishna was explaining something, and that person was arguing with Sri Ramakrishna. His friend said, oh, when he is saying just accept it, why are you arguing? Sri Ramakrishna says, what? Accepting without understanding? Just say I accept, I am saying okay without just feeling that it is true? That is not real action. You cannot accept. If you don't, your reason don't agree to the thing what is said, you cannot really accept the thing. So, whatever suits your reason, accept that. Rest, perhaps you don't know this time. So don't condemn what is said. Just say, perhaps I'm not fit to understand that. This much I understand that. I'm not able to practice that. There are so many varieties of shastras, so many different things of the way. So dharma is like that. It becomes very difficult. Like Satya Dharma, Mahatma Gandhi was asked once, Gandhiji, you practice non-violence and also you practice truthfulness. Which one is greater in that? He said, both. Both has to be practiced. This is dharma, manava dharma. Suppose there was a hunter, the person asked, hunter coming and he was shooting a deer, and somehow deer fled, and you saw deer going to some way. Then hunter came to you, you were standing there. Now hunter asked you, did you see the deer that you were standing? Just I missed it. So what will you say? If you say yes, I saw it, he will ask the place, and where did it go? Then you will say the place, you will go to deer and kill him. So your ahimsa is gone. You help someone to kill someone. So it is ahimsa is not practiced. And if you say no, I didn't see, then you are not telling the truth. So how will you practice dharma in this? You see, dharma is so difficult to practice. At times, it really becomes difficult. What to say, what to deal. That's why it says deep into the things, deep into the heart. Then Mahatma Gandhi, what he answered, he said, I will say, yes, I have seen. And then we say, I will not tell you where it has gone. So that is the practicing of dharma. That's why Mahabharata is said. So, how to practice dharma? Because dharma is a very difficult concept. Sometimes there is conflict in understanding dharma. That's why it is said, Mahajano ena gata sapantha. If you can't understand what to do, just think what the people would have done. Great people, spiritual leaders would have done in this situation. And follow that. Mahajana. Whatever they have treaded the path, follow their path. That is the best way to practice dharma in life. And when we practice dharma, we become closer and closer to God. And that is the ultimate aim of the practice of dharma. So all our discipline, all our virtues, conduct, all has to take us towards that spiritual awareness. Thank you.